Okay, be honest with me for a second. You're probably wearing jeans right now, or you've got a few pairs hanging in your closet. Maybe you grabbed them for 30 bucks at a mall store. Maybe you dropped 300 on a designer pair. But here's a question almost nobody stops to ask. What are you actually paying for? Is it really thicker fabric, tighter stitching, better cotton? Or are you just paying extra for a logo stitched onto the back? Here's the thing, the denim world has changed a lot more than most people realize, especially over the last couple decades. A lot of the biggest names in fashion built their whole reputation on jeans that could survive years of hard physical work. But these days, a lot of those same companies are churning out dozens of different product lines made in factories scattered across totally different countries. Some of those lines are still genuinely excellent. Others have quietly gotten cheaper, while the price tag stayed exactly the same. And that's really the problem, right? You walk into a store and every single wall is covered in big logos, glossy marketing, and the words premium quality slapped on everything. But the second you actually look closely, you start to notice that not every pair on that wall has earned the reputation it's riding on. So this isn't a video telling you what to buy or what to boycott. It's more like we're pulling back the curtain on 4 of the biggest denim brands on the planet, how they got famous, what's changed behind the scenes, where they've actually gotten better, where they've slipped, and which lines are still genuinely worth your money. Once you understand how these companies actually put a pair of jeans together, you'll stop judging denim by the name on the tag. And hey, if that sounds like your kind of thing, go ahead and hit subscribe now and tap that bell icon too so you don't miss it. We've got a whole series planned pulling back the curtain on brands just like this. Alright, let's start with the company that basically invented the whole category. Point 1. Levi's. If denim had royalty, Levi's would be wearing the crown. It all goes back to California during the gold rush of 1873. Miners were out there in brutal conditions and regular pants were falling apart on them constantly. So a businessman named Levi Strauss teamed up with a tailor named Jacob Davis, who'd come up with a pretty clever idea: reinforce the pants at the stress points using small copper rivets. The one small change basically invented the toughest workwear of its era. For a long stretch, Levi's weren't fashion at all. They were tools. Miners wore them, railroad crews wore them, farmers wore them, cowboys trusted them because they simply outlasted everything else on the market. Then something nobody saw coming happen, Hollywood got its hands on them. In the 1950s, guys like James Dean and Marlon Brando started wearing blue jeans on screen, and suddenly denim wasn't just workwear, it was rebellion, it was youth. It was cool. Levi's went from a practical product to one of the most iconic pieces of clothing in American history. Over the following decades, you genuinely could not escape the brand. The 501 became one of the best-selling jeans ever made, and a whole generation basically grew up believing one simple thing: if it says Levi's on it, it's automatically good. But here's where it gets more complicated than people think. Modern Levi's isn't really one product anymore, it's dozens of different product lines aimed at completely different customers. Some of the premium lines still use heavy denim and genuinely excellent stitching. Others, especially the cheaper outlet stuff, are made with thinner fabric and a much more simplified construction process, and that catches a lot of shoppers off guard. 2 pairs can look nearly identical, same red tab, same leather patch, same branding, and yet one will outlast the other by years, purely because of which collection it came from. Manufacturing is spread across a bunch of different countries now too, which honestly doesn't automatically mean lower quality. There are great factories all over the world. The real difference comes down to the standards set for that specific collection. Fabric composition has changed a lot as well. A lot of modern Levi's jeans mix in stretch materials like elastane to make them more comfortable, but too much of that stretch can actually shorten how long the denim lasts compared to plain, old-school 100% cotton. That's not a knock on stretch denim, it just means you should know exactly what you're buying before you buy it. Levi's can still absolutely make a great pair of jeans, but unlike 50 years ago, the name on the tag doesn't guarantee that anymore. The smart move is to actually feel the fabric, check the stitching, and compare collections instead of trusting the logo blindly. And honestly, that lesson applies to almost every brand we're about to get into. Point 2. Wrangler. If Levi's owned the cities, Wrangler owned the American West. Wrangler showed up in the 1940s, and it wasn't built with fashion shows in mind. It was built for cowboys, actual working cowboys, who needed jeans that could survive long days on horseback, brutal weather, sharp equipment, and non-stop movement. Regular denim just couldn't cut it. So Wrangler's engineers actually studied how ranch workers moved through their day and designed around that. Higher back rises for comfort in the saddle, reinforced stress points, flatter seams to cut down on chafing during long rides. Every single design choice had a real practical reason behind it. That's why Wrangler earned its name through function, not marketing. Professional rodeo riders trusted the brand because there wasn't room for failure. If your jeans ripped mid-shift, you lost real time and real money. Durability wasn't a nice-to-have, it was the whole point. For decades, the name Wrangler basically meant tough. Even today, plenty of construction workers, ranchers, mechanics, and outdoor tradespeople still reach for Wrangler because certain lines really do hold up. But like every successful brand eventually does, Wrangler branched out beyond workwear. Fashion lines showed up. Lifestyle lines showed up. Stretch denim became the norm. New washes and slimmer, trendier fits started pulling in a younger crowd. Good for sales, sure, but it also means not every pair of Wranglers is built for ranch work anymore. Some collections are built purely for comfort. Some are built purely to look good. Only certain workwear lines actually stick to the rugged standards the brand was founded on, and that's exactly where shoppers get tripped up. They assume every Wrangler product is equally tough. It's not. Which is why experienced buyers always check which line they're actually buying, because one Wrangler collection might be built for heavy outdoor labor, and another might just be built for a casual weekend look. Same logo, completely different purpose. Point 3. Lee. Long before global fashion turned denim into a massive industry, Lee was already innovating. Founded in Kansas back in 1889, Lee started out making work clothing for railroad crews and factory workers. The goal was never luxury, it was reliability, plain and simple. In the early 1900s, Lee rolled out a handful of innovations that genuinely changed how denim was made. The biggest being the zip fly jean, which replaced the traditional button fly on certain models. At the time, that was a big deal. They also put serious effort into making jeans more comfortable without sacrificing durability, which let Lee go toe-to-toe with Levi's and Wrangler for most of the 20th century. For decades, Lee built a genuinely strong reputation, trusted by workers and everyday families looking for dependable clothes at a fair price. But like a lot of historic brands, globalization changed the game. Production spread across more countries, competition ramped up, fast fashion entered the picture, and shoppers started expecting lower prices without giving up quality. That combination put a lot of pressure on the business. To stay competitive, Lee started offering multiple lines at different price points. Some premium collections still use solid construction and good materials. Others are built mainly to hit a lower price. The tricky part for shoppers is that you usually can't tell the difference just by looking. Two pairs with the exact same Lee logo can perform completely differently a year down the road. That's why the smarter move is never buying based on the name alone. Check the fabric weight, the stitching, the hardware, the overall build quality first, because at the end of the day, understanding what you're actually buying matters a lot more than recognizing the logo on the tag. And speaking of taking things in a different direction entirely, the next brand turned jeans into a full-blown luxury item worth hundreds of dollars. Point 4. Diesel. By the late 70s, denim was already a fashion staple worldwide, but one Italian entrepreneur figured jeans could be a whole lot more than just workwear. His name was Renzo Rosso, and in 1978, he founded a company that completely changed how people thought about premium denim. That company was Diesel. Unlike Levi's, Wrangler, or Lee, Diesel wasn't built around miners or cowboys or factory floors, it was built around fashion. Rosso wanted jeans that looked bold and stood out the second you walked into a room, so instead of chasing durability above everything else, Diesel poured its energy into design, unique washes, premium fabrics, experimental finishes that basically nobody else was doing at the time. By the 90s, Diesel had become one of the biggest names in luxury denim. Celebrities wore it, musicians repped it without getting paid a dime, and fashion magazines couldn't stop covering it. For a lot of people, owning a pair became a genuine status symbol. But luxury comes with a price tag. A pair of Diesel jeans could easily run 2 or 3 times more than Levi's or Wrangler. And the argument from the company was that you weren't just buying denim, you were buying Italian craftsmanship, exclusive design, and better quality overall. And for a long stretch, that was actually true. Early Diesel jeans were known for thick, premium denim, excellent stitching, solid hardware, and finishing techniques that made every single pair feel a little unique. Then Diesel ran into the same problem every successful fashion brand eventually runs into. Demand exploded. New stores opened everywhere. collections multiplied, production scaled up fast, and when you're producing at that scale, keeping the exact same quality across every single line gets really hard. Diesel still makes genuinely excellent jeans today, especially at the higher end of its lineup, but a lot of fashion experts will tell you some of the entry-level models don't really justify their price anymore. In some cases, you're paying more for the name and the design than for meaningfully better construction. That doesn't make Diesel a bad brand. It just means you have to separate the luxury marketing from the actual craftsmanship underneath it. If you're about to spend $200 on a pair of jeans, take the time to compare them against other options in that same price range. Feel the fabric, check the stitching, look at the hardware. Don't assume the Italian name alone means you're getting the best product out there. Because in fashion, luxury branding and actual manufacturing quality aren't always the same thing. Alright, quick favor before you go. If any of this changed how you'll shop for jeans next time, go ahead and hit like. Genuinely takes 2 seconds and tells me you want more of these breakdowns. Drop a comment and let me know which one of these brands surprised you the most. I actually read through these, and I'll pin a few of the best ones. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time, because next week we're doing the exact same deep dive on another everyday product where the name on the label and what you're actually getting don't quite line up. And honestly, if you've got a friend who buys jeans purely for the logo, send them this one. Could save them a decent amount of money.